She had to make a last minute change. No, that's fine, because I thought if you were going to do our financials.
How's everybody?
Whoa.
This was in 2012. That's why she's trying to read it.
You, your attention, we will call the meeting to order. You'd think we hadn't seen each other in a long time. It's like a big reunion or something. I will call the August 18th regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of Tarrant County College to order and ask if there are any public comments. I'm told no one has registered for that. I do have two cards for comments relative to the budget. We'll start with Karen Silverberg and Stacy Strew. Well, it's on the public hearing.
Okay, that's fine. I just know whether you want it at the budget time or at the public comment time.
Well, see, it's on the agenda for budget.
Okay.
We, where we, Ms. These comments are relative to, specific to the budget,
That is correct.
which we will hear following the consent agenda and committee reports. So.
President Appleman, members of the board, Madam Chancellor, it is our pleasure to speak to you today on the subject of supplemental instruction, which is included in the proposed budget that will be discussed and voted on today. Supplemental instruction is an incredible process and way to help students learn and to learn better on their own than they would otherwise. It provides a peer tutor, that's another student who's previously taken the class, who then attends the class with the other students and then provides additional tutoring and instruction to the students outside of class. And the greatest thing about supplemental instruction is it teaches students how to work with each other. It provides a model for students so that when they're in a class that doesn't have supplemental instruction, and some courses are not in need of it as much or are advanced enough that the students should be more independent, they have been taught how to form a study group, how to get to know their fellow students, and how better to use that peer tutoring to assist each other. The best way to learn and to demonstrate your knowledge is to show you can teach someone else. And so by learning how to teach each other and to work together, all of our students benefit. Stacy Stewie is a professor on our campus who has actually utilized supplemental instruction, and I'd like her to discuss how that worked in her classroom.
It was an excellent opportunity. I had a supplemental instructor in my online classes, and students, I think, sometimes felt more comfortable contacting and asking questions to the supplemental instructor. So it was an extra resource for students, and I think very helpful.
We very much support the budget, including the supplemental instruction. We feel it will be an excellent resource for our students and help us in our primary mission, which is student success. Thank you.
Mrs. Appleman, board members, Madam Chancellor, it is also my pleasure to be able to speak with you this evening about the line item on the budget for the proposed 3% raise for our employees. And I wanted to say to you all that is something that I know all of our employees would value very much, because for one thing, they will feel like that what they've been doing for the institution in the past and in the coming year will have a lot of value. They would feel valued with all the hard work that they have been doing for the past year and for the hard work they'll be doing this coming year. So I really would urge you to strongly consider the 3% to be approved as part of the budget for tonight. I know that all the employees are working very hard on our mission for student success. And one big part of the raise that would help them is the fact that it would continue to motivate them to work towards that mission. And I believe also that all of our employees, in the ways that they've worked so hard to help achieve that mission, that any kind of appreciation, any kind of gift, any kind of pat on the back that they could receive from all of you would be greatly, greatly appreciated. And I know it put a really great big smile on their face, and it will help keep them propelling forward with what we still have to achieve in our institution. So I would really urge for that to happen, and I hope y'all will consider it very, very carefully and very closely. I appreciate that. I appreciate the time very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. And we have 3 very special presentations tonight, starting with Dr. Joe McIntosh of the Tarrant County College Foundation.
Ms. Appleman, Chancellor, Board of Trustees, it's a distinct pleasure to have some very special guests with us tonight. I'll welcome you to the platform if you'll join me here. Mr. Todd Ritterbush, Chairman and CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, Tarrant County. Also, Tammy Marcelino, Regional Vice President of Global Philanthropy, J.P. Morgan Chase Foundation. And Adrian Boyd, VP, Trust Administration, J.P. Morgan Chase. And Brooklyn also is joining them tonight. They have a special presentation they'd like to make.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for this opportunity. It's a real pleasure to be with you this evening. This is a special moment for us because the relationship that we have with TCC is one of the most cherished relationships we have in the community. Of course, we try to support a lot of different organizations through our foundation and through our global philanthropy group, but there's not one out there that we feel is a better investment in the community than the relationship we have with TCC. Through the years, you have proven to be an outstanding partner in philanthropy. We find that the funds that you are given to use are used very efficiently. You have an immediate impact on the community. You're a growing organization that's well aligned with the ongoing needs of the community, and it's just a joy to work with you all. So while I wish we had more money to give out every year, the reality is that we don't. We have about the same amount to give out every year, but it's interesting to see how TCC continues to get a larger and larger share of those dollars, and that's a direct reflection of the relationship that we have and the way that we see you putting those dollars to work. So wanted to say thank you this evening to the board, to all the faculty members, to all the administrators who are here. You do such a terrific job, and please know that there are people out there in the community who really appreciate what you do. This is just one small example of that. And so let's see. I think we're going to have a little bit of a check presentation. What I'd suggest we do here is, Brooklyn, will you lead the way right up to the center of the stage there? Tammy and Adrian and Joe.
Chancellor and Ms. Appleman and Mr. Vandergrift, both of these serve on the Tarrant County College Foundation Board. If you would come up front, please.
So don't show them the check until we're all ready, okay? She brings the check. So on behalf of everybody at J.P. Morgan Chase and the J.P. Morgan Chase Foundation, thank you again for all you do. It's our honor to have this check for you here this evening. Brooklyn, show them the check.
something about this?
That's just the official.
And now, Dr. Coppola, I think you have a presentation as well.
President Appleman, Ms. Hadley, members of the board. Two things. First, I present to you a small token from the Southeast Campus, not in preparation for your approval of the budget, of course, but this weekend we had 160 adjunct faculty at an adjunct faculty professional development conference on our campus, and this was a token we gave to them because we value them, and we wanted to, you can write on those cups with the chalk, we wanted to present you with a similar gift to have with you. But why I'm really here is on August 11th, the Arlington Independent School District had their State of the District presentation with Dr. Cavazos. And at that meeting, the Board of Trustees presented the Board of Trustees of TCC and Ms. Hadley, and through me, a plaque. Okay, so this is kind of all that. A community engaged for excellence, the Community Partner of the Year at Tarrant County College with Arlington Independent School District. So they asked that I bring this to you, and we hang it in a prominent place, and we're looking forward to our continued partnership with the ISD. Thank you.
Thank you.
You want a picture for Cavazos?
Sure.
Of course.
Why not? I can't be as cute as Brooklyn.
We want for his archives as well.
And now, Tim Marshall has a presentation.
Thank you, President Appleman, Chancellor, board members. At the last meeting where we were giving our highlights to the board, I mentioned that one of our departments implemented a product called Laserfish, which is a document imaging product. And I'm not quite sure if I remember if I mentioned that that was an award-winning implementation. And tonight, the vendor that is our partner, the representative, Mr. Rigo Ruiz, is here to present the team with the award, and I'll let Rigo explain how they go about doing that. I'd like to introduce, though, the TCC employees that were the primary team members of the Laserfish implementation. From our district imaging office, we have Mr. Ramon Moreno, Mr. Dale Rush, and Ms. Patricia Shepard. And not with us tonight is Carol Latham, who is also a member, and then from our records management office, our director, Nigel Parker. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Ruiz to explain the award.
Thank you all. Thank you for the time. Thank you, Tim. MCCI, the I stands for innovations, and part of this award, and specifically this 2014 award, was evaluating majority of our clients in interviews, having them submit some of the work that they've done, and just in a short period of time, in about a year and a half, I would say. In fact, a year and a half we started with them, and personally I have been involved with these group of members from the beginning all the way until today. The project is still ongoing, but the progress that they've made has been tremendous. And personally, I've worked with over 100 implementations, 100 plus, and this is one of my favorite, if you will, that the caliber of expertise, the growth that they've made has been tremendous. Now, this award, even though I was part of the implementation, I was not part of the judgment, because then, of course, then I would be biased. But we did have a select other team members that evaluated based on certain criterias how the software is being utilized,
how innovative they're being. And one of the things that they've really established is getting something that's out of the box and really customize it, tailored it to making the efficiencies and making the district more efficient for the students, for the actual staff members, which is, again, as I mentioned, phenomenal. Thank you. I know that part of this team in here couldn't be done just by itself. It was by your support, by the support of the upper management, and even down to the other levels. It took a group effort, including MCCIs, but when we first started this project, I told them it takes two to tango. MCCI was willing to tango, and definitely y'all were too. Thank you so much. Ramon, thank you so much. Daryl, Pat, Nigel, thank you so much.
Let's go up here.
Well, here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, we are surrounded by such talent and such skill and good experience, some of whom we've never seen before or maybe see again for a long time. And please know how proud we are of the work you do and how appreciative, and congratulations to all of you.
You make us all proud.
I just want to add that Rigo told me out in the hallway earlier that this was from a group of 500 customers, so I'm pretty proud.
For good reason.
Yes. And I'd also like to thank Rigo for coming up from Houston just for the presentation. So when you have vendors that are willing to work that closely with you, we take advantage of it. My second item real quick tonight, I've asked to move our faculty staff introduction up to the beginning of the meeting as opposed to the end of the meeting. The young man I'm going to speak to has a young family and lives in Dallas, so I wanted to make sure that he had an opportunity to be introduced to the board, but also to get home in a reasonable hour. He said he'll stick around if you find $1 million in the budget for institutional effectiveness in the compliance department. So, yeah, I kind of laughed too. Please join me in welcoming Dr. John Shawana as our new Director of Institutional Effectiveness and Compliance. He started in this role in July of 2014. John holds a BA in Government from the University of Nairobi, an MS in Sociology and Public Administration from the University of North Texas, a Master of City and Regional Planning from the University of Texas Arlington, and a PhD in Urban and Public Planning, also from UT Arlington. He is a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners, the American Association of Institutional Researchers, the Texas Association of Institutional Researchers, the American Sociological Association, and the International Society for Enhancing Teaching and Learning. He has presented at regional and national conferences on institutional research and geographic information systems, assessing the wider impacts of local economic development projects, collaborative sustainable economic developments in North Texas, and examining international instruments and community engagement. He has served as an adjunct and graduate teaching assistant at the University of North Texas and Brookhaven College. He has conducted research for the University of Texas at Arlington, the Dallas Regional Chamber, the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and Cedar Valley College. He served as an economic planner for the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and he began his tenure here at TCC in 2012 as a research analyst in our Office of Institutional Research. John is married to Caroline Shawana, and they have 2 children, David and newborn Samantha. Please welcome John.
Ms. Appleman, Chancellor Hadley, members of the board, and Vice Chancellor Tim Marshall, thank you for this opportunity to continue being part of this hallowed shrine of learning, so to speak, called TARRANT County Community College District. I promised the Chancellor that I would seek to ensure that our institutional effectiveness process is the best in Texas, and she was quick to say, in the world. And I hope to live up to that promise. Thank you.
Tim, you couldn't find anyone any better qualified?
Throwing darts against the wall.
Very impressive. John, we welcome you in your new role and look forward to working with you. Go home to that new baby. Give him, him or her. Give her a hug for us. Is Claudia Garcia in the room at all, or one of her superiors, co-workers? I had the radio on driving in tonight, and I usually listen to NPR, but I had it on KRLD, and they announced her as their Woman of the Week. Is that right, Susanna, of the week? Of the month? For her outreach efforts on our behalf with high schools. So very nice. All right. Any other good news before we move on?
We got more good news later.
All right. Okay, we'll go on to board action items and board business related items, and I would ask your approval of the minutes of June 19th. Do we need to do these separately? Do them as a group separately? Okay. First, the minutes of June 19th, 2014. Motion to approve. Dr. Morrison, second. Mr. Heed. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? July 17th, 2014. Motion to approve. Mr. Carter, second. Mr. Vandergriff. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. August 4th, 2014. Motion to approve. Mr. Greenhill. Mr. Carter, seconded. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion approved. And finally, the August meeting of August 12th, 2014. Motion to approve. Mr. Heed. Second. Ms. Winnett. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. The consent agenda, 4 items: consideration and approval of the TCCD investment broker list, consideration and approval of proposed recommendations for tenure and promotion in rank, consideration and approval of interlocal and cooperative agreements, consideration and approval of proposed policy changes to DJ local. Motion to remove any items. Motion to approve the consent agenda. Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Dr. Morrison. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. If any of you are new, please know that we've had all this material in front of us for several days and have studied it carefully and know what we're doing in voting the approval. All right, committee reports, audit and finance. Mr. Carter?
The new auditor, Nathan Ferguson, is on board. The audit committee will meet with him Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock for the purpose of fleshing out the year-long internal audit schedule. So we should have more to tell you next time.
Great, thank you. Are you going to welcome Mr. Ferguson later? Okay. Governance Committee reviewed and approved the agenda for tonight. Institutional planning, Ms. Vandergriff.
Yes, the IP committee met last week, but I wanted to share with you that not only the IP committee, but other board members and the Chancellor have been very active. This summer, July, we met with Mayor Oscar Trevino at North Richland Hills in regards to the TIF that they have in their hometown center. So we were just exploring what their vision and their journey has been with the town center, and as it relates to the TIF money that they have given to the college as we explore either a performing arts center or a facility. And I thought the outcome of the meeting was terrific. We also met with the city manager, and they've gone back to their council to talk about TCC as it relates to maybe expanding the TIF boundaries to include the Northeast Campus. So that's a huge opportunity for us potentially, and we just really appreciate them considering that. In addition, at our meeting last week, we talked about and viewed the film that the Texas Tech students made of the TXU building, and we felt it was pretty comprehensive and gave a great look of the TXU building. So if anybody interested in the RFQ or the RFP and would like to look at that video, it's available. So that's it for now, but we have ongoing conversations with the North Richland Hills, and I think the Chancellor will be hopefully getting a meeting with them in the next 3 weeks or a month. Thanks.
And finally, the 50th Anniversary Jubilee Committee, Dr. Morrison.
Thank you. The work has been proceeding with the interviews and the development of our book, and we'll be having a meeting with our community committee in early fall, and following that, we'll be announcing more details. Thank you.
Don't believe there are any recommendations at this time from any of the committees, so we'll move on to item number 9, consideration and approval of the Tarrant County College District Investment Policy. Ms. Hadley and Mr. McClendon.
Ms. McClendon will lead that one.
Good evening, Madam Chancellor, Madam Chairwoman, and trustees. It is a great pleasure for me to come to you and have you review our investment policy as you do every year. And I'd like to, based on our investment council, no changes need to be made to the investment policy, so we look forward for you to review and approve this policy.
Motion to approve the policy as included in your packet. Dr. Morrison, second. Mr. Carter, any questions, discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 and 16.
Good evening.
First, item number 10, consideration and approval of Texas Multiple Awards Schedule Cooperative Agreement with Chemical Inc. to provide water treatment chemicals and services for TCCD.
But before Ms. Petty gives her items here for your consideration and approval, let me just say that she and her team are always trying to stay ahead of the curve. And so if you wonder why would we be doing all of this on August the 18th, when the end of the fiscal year is August 31, it's because we're trying to get in place so that there is no break in service. So that's why she has all of these. She has all these items on the agenda. We don't want to miss a month or two.
Thank you, Chancellor. That's right. The next 5 items actually are all in our operational area, which you don't sometimes hear a lot of because we're always talking about construction projects and MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing projects, but that's a very important part of what we do, overseen by Gary Prather and Chad Crocker and Mike Tankersley over our whole operations group. And it's a pretty big group of folks that work for the district, some 200 folks that are all out there churning. And these 5 contracts are all around, as the Chancellor said, maintenance of things that we have ongoing. And this first one is for $200,000, and it is to keep our HVAC, our boilers and our chillers and all the chemicals that are involved in that going. And we're hoping that you will approve this cooperative agreement this evening for the 200, and that's a not to exceed. We may not spend all that money. And you have the backup and a little bit about why and how we do this.
Motion to approve. Mr. Heed. Mr. Carter, second the motion. Any discussion? Questions of Ms. Petty or others? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion approved.
Great. Item number 11 is an interlocal agreement with Martin Eagle Oil, and it's for fuel. And this is mainly for our vehicles around the district and for our generators. It's at a not to exceed $296,000, and we would appreciate you approving this so we can run our fuel next year.
Dr. Morrison moves to approve, seconded by Ms. Vandergrift. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 12 is consideration of an approval of a BuyBoard cooperative agreement with GCA. Services to do grounds services. This is the last year that we were working with GCA on grounds for Trinity River and Trinity River East campus, and we will be bidding out this contract this coming year, but this gets us through 2015 for $360,000.
Motion to approve. Mr. Heed, second. Ms. Winnett, was that you? Any questions or comments, discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 13 is consideration approval of a cooperative purchasing agreement with, I always have trouble saying this, ThyssenKrupp Elevator, who we've been working with for years, and they do our elevator and escalator contracts for the whole district, and it is for $245,000.
Motion to approve. Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Dr. Morrison. Any questions, comments, discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
ThyssenKrupp. I know, every year I have to say that. I have to say, Chad, how do you say that? Item number 14 is consideration approval of a educational institutional cooperative agreement with Trimco for their weatherproofing of our roofs. This is an important $116,734.94 contract. It is district and it's maintenance and leak response for the coming year.
Dr. Morrison moves to approve. Mr. Heed seconds. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Our next two contracts are a continuation of a system that we've put in place to help us manage the delivery of our construction projects. The first one, 15, is with Parsons Environment Infrastructure, and this is for $421,460. And I just might take a minute to visit about both these contracts. We have a very collaborative approach in this delivery system with both Parsons and Sewell Advisory Services and our internal staff to deliver our projects. They've been working very hard on about 7 different projects, and coming into this next year, they'll be working mainly on finishing up these projects, of course, working on the Energy Technology Center, the closeout of this year's projects, our Alliance project and the relocation of some departments that are going up there, our Northeast Early College High School Phase 2 project, a number of mechanical, electrical, and plumbing projects, and of course our Early College High School at the South Campus. So they've got their arms around a lot of, and this provides us a lot of flexibility and enough coverage. I also wanted to mention that this last year we didn't have any change orders, which is always a good thing. We did have deductive change orders totaling about $450,000 on the Southeast Entrance Roads, our Northeast Fine Arts renovation, our Northwest Firing Range, our South Math Emporium, and our Northwest Math Emporium. And we're looking this fall to bring you hopefully some more deductive change orders on the Alliance project and on the Southeast Early College High School when we close those books out. So that $450,000 gets repurposed back. Also, both of these contracts, we do early on, prepare them without knowing exactly what our budget's going to be. And so we put in a fair amount of contingency, which you'll note on both of these items, which we probably are not going to use. Last year, we used about 40% of one of the contracts, Parsons, and about 80% of the Sewell Advisory contract. So we really use these contracts as needed, and it gives us a safety net. And really, the whole purpose of them is to mitigate risks on projects that are usually over $3 million, where those are the projects that are most inherent to sort of risks. And so looking back in the last 4.5 years, we've been very fortunate that we have had no problems there, and so I'm very proud to say that we've got a good team in place. But as we move forward, we're always looking at integrating. We've just hired a new person on our staff internally into our project management group, which means that there's less dependence on outside sources. So anyway, back to item number 15. We're asking you to approve this with Parsons Environment and Infrastructure, not to exceed, which I promise you it won't, and it'll come in a lot less, $421,460.
Motion to approve item number 15. Dr. Morrison. Second. Seconded by Mr. Greenhill. Questions, discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Mr. Carter. Motion passes. Item number 16.
My last item is 16, and it is same contract extension with Sewell Advisory Services for financial construction services for our projects for $630,700 not to exceed.
Motion to approve. Mr. Greenhill, second. Dr. Morrison, questions, discussion?
This is not necessarily pertaining to this specific contract because I will vote affirmative on this. But I just want to say that I know that since I've been here, we've used consultants in advisory capacity, which I recognize is a necessity. But I just encourage you to be vigilant on the cost effectiveness and watchful on the value that we get for them. And so, you know, I'm confident with you tonight that that's the case. So it's just been a long time that we've paid out quite a bit of money for these types of services.
Appreciate your comments, and we will continue to be vigilant about doing that. And it's in essence, these contracts help protect the district's funds and ensure that we don't have change orders and we don't have any kind of legal action on any of those contracts. So I'm confident that we've got a good system in place and we'll continue to work at it.
Mrs. Vandergriff and board members, let me add that I asked the same questions that you asked, and I've been asking these questions for a long time. I've been convinced, however, that the level of expertise that we have gotten, we didn't have in-house to do. I can't give you a dollar amount of the real value. We can tell you how much money we save on contracts, and that's a lot, and they generally pay for themselves almost completely. But the other thing that they do, and some of you may not remember much of the great discussion and angst we had 5 years ago trying to work through all of the really nitty-gritty details of contract disputes. And we haven't had any since that time. So it's very valuable from us. We've spent a lot of money with attorneys and accountants and others trying to make sure that we were being good stewards of the taxpayers' money and everything had been spent appropriately. That isn't something that we have to deal with today. I understand that these kinds of contracts can be a little bit questionable perhaps, but you have to really get down in the weeds to understand why we do this. And I'm convinced that the money has been well spent, and I think we can show you that from a monetary perspective as well as from a lack of disputes that take a lot of time, effort on a lot of people's parts to settle things. And normally when you settle things, you don't necessarily get what you deserve. You get the best you can negotiate in situations like that. And we have been able to eliminate those kind of issues over the last 4 years.
I might just add that there's I don't know any district that would operate doing construction projects over $3 million and wouldn't bring in professional services. It's just not done. And it really does mitigate risk, and it protects the funds. And again, I think you'll see a return on the investment in terms of what's brought back, and we'll be coming back to you in the fall with, I think, some savings on those contracts that is because of this collaborative group we've got in place. So in essence, these two contracts are sort of attached at the hip. They work very closely with our internal team. And as we move forward and do things differently, we'll be examining that. We've talked about on large projects, for instance, you talked about the performing arts. We would probably bid that project out with project management as a part of it. We've not done that in the past, but as we have time to be able to put those budgets together and contemplate that, that's how I would recommend doing it moving forward on the bigger projects. So again, these are pots of money that gives us the ability to draw out of them as we need and protects the district, and probably would have been less if I'd had more time to adjust these contracts based on the timing. But we have to get the paperwork in so early to get it to you for review, and we tighten up the numbers in August as we move forward in terms of what we're going to be spending next year and what projects we're going to be working on. So anyway, I hope that answers your question, Ms. Vandergriff, and we will be watching it.
You call the question, or you have a question? Call the question. Don't let me cut anyone out. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? If not, then all those in favor of the approval of, sorry, I was moving along, the contract extension with Sewell Advisory Services for financial construction services, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Carter, motion passes.
Thank you very
Ms.
much.
Petty. Item number 17, consideration and approval of annual subscription renewal with Libris for Alma software. Mr. Marshall.
And we have 5 of those for Mr. Marshall
I
tonight.
see that.
This time of the year is, for whatever reason, it's the historical time to renew software and hardware purchases. A lot of software purchases are terminus with our fiscal year, so you'll see a bunch of them come at this time. This is one of those. This is for our library automation software. This is the software that catalogs and distributes and tracks all of our library holdings. This is in the amount of $113,980 with Alma software from Libris.
Motion to approve. Mr. Heed. Second by Ms. Vandergriff. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
The next item for review and approval is the renewal of our online tutoring services with NCS Pearson, known as SmartThinking. This is the 24/7 online service that we engage that allows students to call or contact a tutor at any time of the day in, I think, over 35 different subjects. This is in the amount of $150,000.
Motion to approve. Dr. Morrison, second by Mr. Greenhill. Any questions, discussion? Mr. Carter? Did you hear the question?
Yes, the level of use. Right now, we're serving, I think, 3,500 students took advantage of the online tutors.
3,500 individual calls or 3,500 individual students?
3,500 individual students, and I can get you the exact call numbers. Many students take advantage of it multiple times. I think it's around the 6,000 or 7,000 calls range. You have to predict upfront the level of your engagement before you don't pay as you go, you pay as you forecast. So this forecast is actually for 10,000 connections. We didn't quite reach that this year. We didn't reach it last year, and that's why we dropped down to this number. So this is a number that's the minimum we have with the vendor.
Other questions, discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Dr. Morrison?
No, I'm voting in affirmative. I just know that. No, I'm not on. I'm sorry. I am voting in the affirmative, but I'm certain the faculty that are here heard and will encourage their students to up their usage so that we can retain this service. And you might put some extra points in there for using the tutor service and all those things to sweeten the pot for your students. We don't want to have to come back and drop this. I think it's a valuable service. We just need to encourage our students to use it so that they can get the maximum benefit from it. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 19, consideration and approval of contract with SHI Government Solutions to purchase Tenable Security Center Continuous View software.
This agenda item is for another layer of security for our district environment. Previously, I've come to you with purchases for antivirus software, which is for the software that we run on the different equipment. And within the last 2 months, I came to you with a pattern recognition software. This is actually for hardware scanning. We are moving from watching just over our servers to now watching over any device that is brought on campus. That's why this went from a 500 device environment to over 15,000. We actually have an unlimited number of access points that we can use. So whenever a student brings any hardware on campus, we will be scanning it in the background. And this is in with software from SHI Government Solutions, which is one of our vendors on the DIR list in the amount of $181,855.26.
Motion to approve. Mr. Heed, second. Mr. Greenhill, any discussion, questions? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 20, consideration and approval of contract with Flair Data Systems to purchase equipment to expand wireless coverage.
Our environment is growing as we build the early college high schools, do even more work at the OWTL facility than we originally expected, and adding capacity to some environments where the programs are asking us to provide more and more access to devices in the classroom, devices that we don't provide but students are bringing. This purchases with Flair Data for additional hardware to expand that wireless environment in the amount of $401,474.40.
Motion to approve. Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Mr. Carter. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 21, consideration and approval of annual renewal of Ellucian administrative software maintenance fee.
This is our largest purchase of the year. This is our software that does all of our administrative functions, from accounting to HR to payroll to student records. This is the lifeblood of the district with regards to what they call enterprise resource software. Our annual renewal is in the amount of $509,252.
Motion to approve. Mr. Heed, seconded by Ms. Vandergriff. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will now proceed with the budget for the coming year. Mrs. Hadley and the Celt. Okay, thank you.
Well, board members, thank you once again for being here to take the final look at the budget for 2014-15. You have seen this several times before. There is nothing new in the budget. This is an opportunity for you to take another look at what we're proposing for 2014-15, and also to be reminded of all the beautiful pictures that Ms. Shelley Birch always picks out for us, just as a reminder of the wonderful things that we do at Tarrant County College. You can just look at those pictures for the most part and see the story. It's a wonderful story that we have to tell. The agenda for this evening's presentation will be in two parts. Well, it's actually in 4 parts. You'll have the proposed budgets, options A and B. Option A would be the budget that's proposed with the no tax increase. The option B would be the budget with the effective tax rate. And then you'll have recommendations from me that I have vetted out with all of the CELT members, the staff, and faculty have all participated in these. And then you'll have resolutions that are required by state law for you to adopt the budget. So we'll start with the maintenance and operation revenue, option A, and you will see that the most important, perhaps, line up there is line 2, operation, the maintenance operation tax, with an increase of $11 million. And you get down to, you see we've decreased the non-credit hour funded tuition by $100,000. We've decreased the non-credit tuition, I said non-funded to start with, and that was funded. So we've decreased both of those. Hopefully, as the year goes on, we are indeed going to be able to make that up. But at this point, on the conservative side of the house, our finance team is reducing that based primarily on historical data. And then you go to the bottom of that page, and you can see that our debt service, well, let me go back to the capital improvement plan, the maintenance operation tax. A part of that money, of course, always goes into the capital improvement projects. Last year, we had $33.69 million in that fund. This year, we have $34.3 for an increase of $619,722. And then, of course, the debt service is decreasing this year. As you know, we're paying off all of our debt. And so the debt service goes from 8.141 to 6.730 with a decrease of $1.4 million. So then that would make our total income $9.8 million more than last year, going from $317,488,179 to $327,327,179. Now, the expenditures under this option would be the general administration going from $25.5 million to $26.4 for an increase of $932,000. Student services going from $19.9 million to $20.4 million for an increase of $537,000. General institutional expenses going from last year $18.065 to $18.639 for an increase of $574,000. Staff benefits increasing from $30.771 million to $32.723 million. And of course, anytime you have a salary increase, you have staff benefits increases. Anytime you have new faculty, staff members hired, you get an increase in staff benefits. And instruction, we're going from $124,954,000 to $129,779,000 for an increase of $4.8 million. Learning resources, we're increasing $1.1 million. Physical plant operation, I mentioned that number a minute ago, you're increasing $788,000. And then in contingency, we're decreasing it slightly by $165,000 for a total of $15.369 million. In the contingency line, we have several items there. That's where the sticky space money is, and there are some other things. Nancy gave me a note so that I wouldn't forget to tell you this. The new building construction is in that amount. The student services fund in there, as well as a general contingency that we have for $6.7 million. So all those together adds up to the $15,369,008. At the bottom of that page, again, you see the debt service decreasing by $1.4 million. The salaries increasing by $8 million. That would include salary increase that I'm recommending in a few minutes. Staff benefits would increase by $1.951 million. Fixed charges increasing by $457,000, and operating expenses, general operating expenses, increasing by $145,000. So this would be the expense side of option A, with the regular tax increase in value that we would be getting. So the summary on option A would be a $10.6 million increase in maintenance and operation, $3 million decrease in renewal and replacements, $37,866,000 increase in the building fund, and that would take care of Energy Technology Center, the Early College High School on South Campus, and $6 million renovation for the other building on Northeast to complete the Early College High School there. The auxiliary fund would increase by $160,000. Debt service again would decrease by $1.4 million. That would be the summary of budget summary option A. Now, this is option B, and if you look at the second line, the maintenance operation tax, again, there is $11,080,000. If you come down to the bottom, almost at the bottom of that page, after you pass total educational in general, you will see the maintenance operation tax would increase there by 7.6. That's the money that would take you to the effective tax rate. And so at the end of that page, you will see the debt service stays the same, decrease. The total income will be $16.867 million. On the expenditure side, you will see that the $7 million that you would get from the non-mandatory transfer, $7.6 million, would go into the total operation and maintenance, and you'll see it'll go from 33.690 in the current budget to $337,920. And so you see that $7.6 million that would be included in the effective tax rate would all be on that line. The budget summary for the option B, again, would show the an increase of the $7,000 in the building fund that would get you up to $894,961. If you'll just stop there for a minute, and especially look at picture number 3 from the left. That's my favorite one. That's up there. All the messages the students are giving, he's like, I did it. So he's very intense about what has happened to him. You can get some really interesting shots at graduation. And I know, board members, you have a lot of fun sitting on that stage watching the various expressions on their faces, and especially looking at the women's shoes.
Don't tell all our secrets.
So now for my recommendations, and I want to especially thank the JCC members who came up to speak. Let me, as well as the CALT, as well as the board members, know how you feel about the recommendations that are being proposed tonight. So the first recommendation I have is a 3% salary and benefits increase for all employees. That 6.180 includes the benefits as well as the salary increases. That's what it will cost for that recommendation. I'm also recommending $1 per contact hour, Mrs. Winnett, for all adjunct faculty, as well as full-time faculty overload rates. That will cost us $580,000. The next recommendation is to raise the minimum salary hourly rate to $12 per hour. You have a copy of the salary schedule in your notebook, and you can see that there's a very few class codes that would change to the $12 per hour. You'll see some in there that may say $12.58, but they were already there. It was only the ones below $12 per hour were raised. We feel very strongly about this recommendation. We think it sends a good feeling to our employees for that kind of salary increase. But more importantly, I think, is what it does for retention for our employees. We get a lot of people in those categories who will leave us for an additional 25 cents an hour, because 25 cents an hour to somebody who's not making that much money makes quite a bit of difference for them. So we would strongly recommend that you consider that as well. The recommendation for the tuition is that it would remain the same, both for all 3 areas. In district at $55, no change. Out of district, $86, no change. Non-resident tuition, $205, no change. We recommend that you allocate $1.4 million from the Student Sticky Space Funds for the district-wide supplemental instructional program that could be taken to scale with that. You heard two JCC members speak to that recommendation as well. Again, we think that $1.4 million will really help our students stick a lot more. We realize that the money was set aside for sticky spaces. Our facilities people have done a really, really good job of providing more spaces for students to hang out, spaces where they can get their electronic equipment charged. And so it's working out very well. You talk to some of the faculty members and they'll tell you they like those spaces. They stop by, work with students on a regular basis. And of course, the supplemental instructional program would, as I said, absolutely help them stick more. They'll get a lot more instruction. That way, you may recall from last week, supplemental instruction is designed to target the course, not the student. So it's available for the course, and any student who takes it automatically has access to that. So the faculty members choose the courses they think are the most difficult based upon their experience for students to pass, and that's where the student tutors would come in as the providers of additional instruction for those students. Option A on the tax rate, as you can see, takes our rate from 2013-14 from 0.1495 to 0.1495. There is no change. The M&O tax rate is slightly higher, goes from 0.14241 to 0.14392. The debt service tax rate goes down, and the difference between the debt service tax in 13 and 14 is added to the maintenance and operation tax in 14-15. So that's how you get the exact same tax rate in option A. In option B, if you go to the effective tax rate, the maintenance and operation tax goes from that 0.14241 to the 0.14899. The debt service stays the same because, you know, that's fixed and you collect whatever it is you owe. And so that takes your effective tax rate then to 0.15457, or an increase of 0.00507. I have questions, comments, or discussion about any of those things we just talked about, the recommendation or the options on the tax. I have another slide up there somewhere, Shelley, that I want to tell you about. I told you last week that if you decide to go to the effective tax rate, it would be very helpful to the college, and I talked about buying a warehouse. But let me tell you the backstory about the warehouse. The Northeast Campus District Service Center has been turned into an early college high school for Northeast Campus. That gave us an opportunity to move really fast on getting early college high school up and running on the Northeast Campus. We didn't use any of the space from the warehouse for the early college high school at all. We used swing space for that building. That building was built, the District Service Center was built, I guess, how many years ago? 2002. Thank you, David. It was built in 2002 so that we could do some major renovations of other buildings on the Northeast Campus. And as you know, the Northeast Campus buildings are full of asbestos, the older buildings. And so we had to literally shut down many of those spaces, which called for us to move people out of those spaces into the swing space over in that District Service Center. And it served us extremely well. Now we have used that space for the early college high school, and we don't have it anymore to use in case we need to move people out, and we do. We have one building that is is on our target list of doing something with very soon, and we'll need space to move them. Faculty offices, student classrooms, those kinds of things. In addition to that, when we looked at the warehouse, we're looking at buying a facility that would accommodate not just the needs of the warehouse, but we're looking at buying something that would be large enough for us to consolidate that warehouse with another one that we're using, that we're paying about $80,000 a year for lease space. But in addition to that, we're looking for a place where we can put all of Mr. Marshall's group, the IT people, as well as some other real estate and facilities people also, because they're losing their home. The real estate people are losing their home for the early college high school phase 2. So we're doing a lot of fruit basket turnover, if you will. We're moving a lot of different people around. We also have put Tim Marshall's group and another group over at the Northwest Campus Center of Excellence in Transportation, Aviation, and Logistics. I got it. And they're taking up the 3rd floor that we never intended for them to have. We put them there as a temporary situation until we can find another place for them, because we absolutely want and need that space for academic courses. We want to create an academic center in that facility as well, because we know there are large numbers of residents out there who would love to go to TCC but can't stand to fight that 35 traffic on a regular basis. So that's the intent of that space, but in the meantime we have those employees in there. So we have a lot of different moving parts. So when I talk about a warehouse, I'm not just talking about a warehouse. I'm talking about a multi-purpose facility that would house a lot of non-instructional people very well. And of course, depending upon how much we can negotiate, what kind of building we can find, and how we negotiate it, we may have some money left out of that $7.6 million. Probably won't. By the time we buy a warehouse and configure it to our needs, because there would be some reconfiguration that we'd have to do, but we may have some left. Mr. Carter.
We can just pause a second. Our computer bank has gone down here.
We've all been disconnected.
I didn't do it, by the way.
I thought for a moment that I did.
We're all disconnected. While we're waiting, are the resolutions on my computer to be read for vote, or where are they? I thought that's what you were handing me, but. Oh, okay, thank you.
You're not down, are you, Shelley?
No. Someone pull the plug. While we're waiting, does anyone have any questions of the Chancellor or others to help you?
I actually do not have a question. I would just like to comment on the how reasonable I think the budget is, and to compliment all of the staff on how well you all have worked together to bring this to us and to answer all of our questions over the past 3 meetings, so that I think we all have a good understanding of actually what's in the budget. And as I reflect historically, I think this is probably more information on one budget than I had in several years put together. So I think it's a very good, has been a good process, and I think we've come up with a good product. And I'm hoping that my colleagues and I will select option B as we go into the new year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if we can see the information on the big screens, I think we can proceed without our personal computers. So why don't we move on if there are no further questions? Think of all those years we didn't have a computer in front of us.
Absolutely.
Just paper.
Go to the next one, Shelley. We throw in all these extra slides so we can put pictures in.
Show and tell.
Show and tell. So the first one up there is consideration and approval of the salary and benefits for 2014-15. That would be adoption of the salary schedules that you were sent. I guess you can't see it right now, but
Well, we have hard
you have
copies.
you have hard
Yeah, thank you.
copies. Okay. That salary schedule is basically unchanged. I don't know where Dr. Coronado is. He's there. It's basically unchanged, Dr. Coronado. A few changes to adjust for the any. Ricardo, help me out here. Salary adjustments for the no, I'm looking for
Entry level for the classes.
entry level for class codes. That's not what word I was looking for. Did you adjust any of those for market?
Market rate.
Somebody should know the word I'm looking for.
Take some.
Every year, generally, something is adjusted for the market because you got to keep up with the market. I don't know if you adjusted any this year or not. You did some at the end. Okay, I knew you would have. Yeah, he just couldn't read my mind. And then the second one up there is for you to authorize me to set the individual salaries and sign the contracts. Go ahead. This would be your consideration of the ad valorem tax exemptions for disabled veterans, all the way from 30, 50, 70, 100%, other disabled persons, and persons over 65. You'd also give me authority to establish the non-credit tuition and fees, and we are looking very closely at how we're going to establish those fees in the future. No concrete decision has been made at this point, but Dr. Gates' Black staff really taking a very hard look at those. There are some things that perhaps we could charge more money for without any issue, and others we have some concerns about. There again, you're looking at the options for the tax rate, 0.14950 or 0.15457. And now would be the time for you to vote through adopting the resolutions as you see fit. Any other questions before we get to the resolutions?
The salary schedules and increases include the 3% and the $1 and the $12.
They
numbers?
account for, they are inclusive of that, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are you all ready to go on to the resolutions? Okay. So first, having to do with salary schedules and
Go ahead, Shelley.
increases.
Well, the first
No,
resolution
first
up
is
there
the overall budget.
is option A, whether you want to adopt option A as a resolution or go to the next one, Shelley. That has all of that. It's just all in the A and then B. And the same things would be under B. And the only thing that would change in option
Is
B
the
would be the
tax rate.
salary. Excuse me.
The tax rate.
The tax rate, right. Okay. So, Madam President, you would need to have the vote.
The
on
chair
this one.
will entertain a motion to adopt either option A or option B. Who would like to make that
Do
motion?
we do the,
I would. You gonna make the
do we make them separately or option A, option B?
No, just choose one.
Oh, just one, okay. I'll make a motion to adopt option B.
I would second.
Discussion? Questions? You ready for the vote? All those in favor? I think we better raise our hands on this one. All those in favor of resolution option B? 3. All those opposed? 4. Okay, someone want to make a motion relative to option A?
I'd like to make a motion to approve option A.
Mr. Carter, Mr. Heed. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your hand, please. 4, and those opposed, 3. Option B prevails.
No.
I'm sorry,
That's
option
right,
A.
but
I'm
no.
looking at option A prevails.
Okay, the next resolution. Shelley? No, they've done it. Let's
It's
go on to
okay.
the next.
I'm sorry, I was
Go to the next
thinking
resolution.
A, reading B.
Are we supposed to read those? No, okay, keep going, Shelley. Okay, go back. You're right, go back to A. Okay.
Okay, now we have to take it in part. So the next motion would have to do, excuse me, approving these amounts.
Yes, ma'am. Go back.
Go
to the
back,
veterans.
Shelley, go back to
They need to adopt that one.
the page prior to this.
The page prior, she says? I thought you'd done that one.
We did that one. All right. Go forward one then. And this has to do with ad valorem tax exemptions to comply with state law relative to disabled veterans, other disabled persons, and persons over age 65. And I would ask for a motion to approve this resolution. Mr. Carter, seconded by Mr. Heed. Any questions? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And this has to do with the taxes to be levied on property within the district. An ad valorem tax at the rate of 14.392 cents and an ad valorem tax at the rate of 0.558 cents to pay the principal and interest of the series bonds 2001, 2004, and 2005. Motion to approve.
Wait, they didn't vote on that one yet,
Well,
did they? They did. What's the next one?
We have to approve the actual rate.
You approve the actual rate.
okay, motion to approve the rate here as you see it. Ms. Vandergriff? Mr. Carter makes the motion. Ms. Vandergriff seconded. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Okay. Now then, I think that's it.
Okay, go back, Shelley, to the motion to approve individual salaries. Okay.
Did we not, we didn't have a motion on this
you
one?
didn't-
We
you
need a
didn't.
motion on this one, Bill? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion to approve authority for the chancellor to set the individual salaries and sign contracts, and then the salaries and benefits as stated in the package in front of you.
That's the last one.
Mr. Heed moves to approve. Second? Second. Ms. Winnett, any questions? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Have we done them all?
There's one more, I think.
One more. No, we did this one. I think that's it.
Okay. I thought that was one to approve authority to non-credit tuition and fees. Did you do that one?
No, we haven't done that one.
That's it.
There we go.
Okay.
There's the missing part. Motion to approve the authority for the chancellor to establish non-credit tuition and fees. Mr. Heed moves approval.
Second.
Mr. Carter seconded. All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Well, Mrs. Apple and board members, thank you for your wonderful support of all of the great work that the employees of Tarrant County College do. We are most appreciative of having your leadership.
Thank you all. I think it's time for the monthly financial report, Mr. McClendon.
We have actually deferred tuition of $7.8 million, of which $4 million are in accounts receivable and 3.8 have already been collected. So that means we're already ahead of the game. I had Mr. Vick look at our DSO, which means our days outstanding. That's how we pay, and we're paying about 30 to 35 days, which is an incredible rate for an organization our size. And if we look at revenue, I'd like to comment that our revenue, we were looking at items that are over 100%, so we're sitting on 96 points. It's about 97% with 1 month missing. So our revenue position is quite good. We're now going to move to our expense position, is looking at, let's go to the last slide. Yes, ma'am, please. We're looking about an 87% on our expenses, so that is a very favorable position with only 1 month outstanding. So I would say our financials right now look rather well. Okay, we'd like to go to our investments page, and at this stage of the game, we're actually consuming most of the capital, most of our cash position, and we went ahead and used about $11.8 million out of our investment pools, and that gives us with an ending balance of $252 million. If we look at our T-bill rate for 13 weeks is about 0.49, and if we look at our 26 T-bill rate is about 0.46. Any questions on the investments?
I have just a general, I want to backtrack just a little bit about our investment policy.
Yes, sir.
Will you confirm with me that you know, as a part of our resolution that we're
Bill,
going to...
I don't think your microphone is on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it? It's on. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Will you confirm with me that that we're going to adopt a written instrument that states that we have reviewed our policy? Or we have to sign a written statement that we adopted it as part of the policy, and
yes, sir.
Make sure that we do that. I'm referring to Government Code 510032 and 2256005E. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Just
We'll
make sure that we, you know, okay, that's what we need to write. The record has to show a written statement that we've signed. That's probably the president that signs it.
Yes, yes, sir. We will be happy to do that. Thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Rico. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Chancellor's report.
Madam President, the first thing we have this evening are some wonderful new staff introductions. You've just heard one earlier this evening, John Shawana, who has gone home to his newborn. And the next one we'll hear from is Dr. Joy Gates Black, who has a person to introduce to you tonight. Dr. Black?
Thank you, Chancellor Hadley. Mrs. Appleman, members of the board, please join me in welcoming Robert Bob Ledford to Tarrant County College as the Assistant to the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and Student Success. I am really glad he's here. Bob comes to us from Seminole State College in Orlando, Florida, where he served for 18 years in various leadership roles that included academic management, campus administration, and committee service for initiatives such as regional accreditation, process improvement, and emergency preparedness. He also represented the college to key constituents in Central Florida, such as Seminole County Public Schools, workforce and economic development organizations, area chambers of commerce, the United Way, and the American Red Cross. Bob earned a bachelor's degree in history from the University of Alabama in Huntsville and a master's degree in history and human relations from Louisiana Tech University. He also completed the certificate program at Harvard University's Institute for Management, Leadership, and Education. Bob's hobbies include reading, traveling, and visiting art exhibits and museums with his wife, Gay. Sports interests are painted in the color crimson and expressed with the familiar Roll Tide chant. I'm working on it. That's all I can say. Please join me in welcoming Bob Ledford. Remind Bob he's in Texas now.
Yes, please do.
Welcome, Bob. We're pleased to have you here.
Ms. Appleman, members of the board, Chancellor Hadley, it's an incredible privilege to be here. My whole career in higher education has been rewarding, and I describe it to my friends as a positive addiction. I've had an incredible opportunity to work with people who are talented, to see the results of those talented and how it transforms the lives of students in the community as well. And I must tell you that as I talked recently to my friends in Florida, their tone of conversation with me has gone from oohs and ahs about what's going on here to a marked sense of jealousy. But they'll just have to deal with that, and please know that I'm very grateful to be here.
Thank you. Welcome. Dr. Peter Jordan has two people to introduce to you this evening. Dr. Jordan?
Good evening, Chancellor Hadley, Ms. Appleman, members of the board. I'm thrilled to introduce two individuals who are joining the South Campus community. The first is Stephen Harmon Wilson, PhD, who is joining us as Vice President for Academic Affairs. It's been a long search for Stephen. I'd like to ask Stephen to come forward and stand with me here. Dr. Wilson has more than 15 years of teaching experience and administrative experience in 2- and 4-year institutions of higher learning. His professional experience also includes work as an electrical engineer, an academic editor, and a research consultant. Dr. Wilson earned his BS in electrical engineering here in Texas at Rice University. As an engineer, he worked at the National Security Agency and NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. His work with these agencies contributed to the F-22 Raptor and environmental health systems on board the International Space Station. Dr. Wilson also earned his MA and PhD in history at Rice University. Didn't go very far. He'd probably stay here for a long time, given his commitment, where he studied U.S. legal and constitutional history. His career as an academic included teaching American legal history, U.S. history at Rice and the University of Houston downtown. From 2003 to 2006, Dr. Wilson was assistant professor of history at Prairie View A&M University, where he taught history survey courses, historiography, and research methods. Most recently, he has taught Introduction to the Constitution and Judicial Process, and a special topics course at the University of Tulsa. Dr. Wilson joins Tarrant County College from Tulsa Community College, the other TCC. There he served as Associate Dean for Liberal Arts for Tulsa Community College's Metro Campus from 2006 to 2012. In 2012, he became the first dean of the college's first dean of academics assessment for the college. In this role, he collaborated with faculty across the college as they developed program and discipline reviews. He collected, organized, and reported successes and challenges pertaining to student learning outcomes. He was an active member of the Tulsa community and served on several boards, participated participated in a number of international education initiatives, and this year Dr. Wilson was selected for the Fulbright Community College Administrators Seminar in Russia. For 2 weeks he spent traveling to 4 major cities in Russia to discuss the challenges they're facing across teaching and training in Russian colleges. Dr. Wilson is the author of The Rise of Judicial Management in the U.S. District Court, Southern District of Texas, 1955 to 2000, published in 2003. His publications also include several journal articles. Please help me welcome Stephen Harmon Wilson to TCC.
Welcome, Dr. Wilson. I asked Dr. Jordan at least 15 times, were you here yet? And so I am very pleased to see you here tonight. I hadn't seen you until tonight, so I'm glad to lay my eyes on you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're glad to have you here.
I appreciate that. Mrs. Appleman, Madam Chancellor, and the board, I want to say how pleased and happy I am as well to be here. As you heard from that introduction, I was in Texas, and I got back here as soon as I could. It took 8 years, but here I am. And I have to say also that those of my colleagues in Oklahoma who are familiar with Tarrant County said they had a couple of questions when I said that I was leaving. First they said, "Oh, well, where are you going?" And I said, "Tarrant County College," and they didn't ask any more questions. They didn't need to. They knew why I was coming. So thank you very much. It's been a welcome that I've received, unparalleled.
Thank you. Welcome.
Next up, I'd like to ask Dr. Jared Cobb to join me here. Dr. Cobb comes to us as Director of Student Development on the South Campus. Before joining TCC, he served as the inaugural Director and Chief Conduct Officer of Student Affairs at the University of North Texas, Dallas. In this position, Dr. Cobb was involved in and had oversight for all co-curricular aspects of the student experience. Dr. Cobb has 14 years K through 12 and higher education experience. As such, he has had the opportunity to develop students across the educational spectrum, from elementary to doctoral education. Prior to working at UNTD, Dr. Cobb spent 5 years at TCU in the areas of transitional programs and student organizations. He also served in various roles in university and K-12 athletics. To support his passion for lifelong learning and education, Dr. Cobb is a regular presenter at national and local conferences. He is often a guest speaker for K-12 and higher education institutions on topics such as mentoring, educational dynamics, and student engagement. Dr. Cobb received his BS in Sports Management from Hampton University, a Master's of Education in Counseling Education from the University of North Texas, and the EDD in Educational Leadership from Texas Christian University. Jared and his wife are active in the Fort Worth community, and they are the proud parents of son Ashton Michael Cobb. I'll let him tell you how old he is. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jared Cobb to Tarrant County College.
Welcome, Dr. Cobb.
Well, thank you. Chancellor, Board, President Jordan, thank you for having me. I have a 3-month-old, so I can guarantee he's not asleep right now. He's still up. So it's probably my time for a bottle. I did want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come to join the district family. I've worked in Fort Worth ISD, TCU, and other various institutions in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and at every stop, I've always marveled at how great the district did in educating students and providing access to education. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to partner with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on my agenda has to do with recent activities, and I'm going to skip over all of those recent activities except one that I'll just give you a brief note of, and that is I visited with Dr. Pat Linares, who is the interim superintendent of the Fort Worth Independent School District, and took a lot of my colleagues with me. We wanted to give her a good overview of what we had planned with the previous superintendent to make sure that she understood that we're still ready to move along, especially with our early college high school. So I'll be keeping you in up to date on how that's going, but we fully expect that it's going to go really, really well. And then just to remind you that, speaking of early college high schools, Dr. Bill Coppola is going to cut the ribbon for his early college high school one day next week. This week already. And we'll be there. And all the board members are invited, and we hope you can all come. And Mrs. Winnett, that will be a good one too. It's in Arlington, but it still may be a good one for your friend to come and see, and she can do a Fort Worth one later. Also remind you that this is the third year of the Texas Academy of Biomedical Sciences Early College High School, and Dr. Tahita Fulkerson is welcoming her juniors to her campus this year. Remind you that Dr. Eva LeBlanc is starting with a new crop of students this year, and she's very excited about that. And that Dr. Peter Jordan is going to, I don't know if we're going to cut a ribbon or not. September 3rd, we're going to cut a ribbon at Everman Independent School District for the early college high school within a school model that is going to be different from most of those. And then on September 18th, we're going to cut the ribbon for the early college high school on Northeast Campus with Grapevine Colleyville ISD. I mention that because one of my goals was to make sure that we had an early college high school on every campus, and we are going to reach that goal by the middle of September. We'll have all 5 campuses with an early college high school, and that's really, really good news. So thank you to each of you presidents, because each one of them has jumped in there and really made this happen. And we really, really appreciate it. It makes a lot of difference for the students in Tarrant County, and we know they'll make a lot of difference for us when those students come to us as well. So thank you. The other thing that I want to tell you is that this is Dr. Larry Darlidge's very last board meeting, unless he just wants to come in and slip in the back and sit and listen and reminisce of all the wonderful 18 years worth of board meetings that he has attended since he's been at Tarrant County College. We salute you, Larry, for the wonderful things that you have done for Tarrant County College and Northeast Campus in particular. You've been absolutely great. So I know you would not dare let this moment go by without saying something about the wonderful board meetings that you've attended. The long ones, the short ones, the not so long and the not so short. So this is your moment just to say a quick word to the board members in particular. And Larry didn't know I was going to call on him, but he's always ready.
Thank you, Chancellor, President Appleman, board members. It's kind of a bittersweet time for me. I met with the faculty on the Northeast Campus this morning, and we had really great the last first day back on the Northeast Campus. I said good morning, and I got a standing ovation.
Wow.
Like, whoa. But anyway, it's been a wonderful 18 years. This is the best job I've ever had, bar none. And I was calculating how many board meetings I've attended, and it's right at 220.
Wow.
And they were all very memorable. I can tell you about each one. I can remember exactly the very first board meeting I attended when Chancellor C.A. Robertson was the chancellor, and we met in a very small room, and the board met around a table. And so the 18 years went by very, very fast. And they say that as you get older, time goes by faster, and so I'm getting very old because these 18 years went by so fast, and they were enjoyable. We've made a lot of progress in these 18 years, TCC has, and I'm really happy to have been a small part of that. So thank you all very much for your support over these many years, and I will, every third Thursday evening, I will have a glass of wine. And toast you.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you. And you are invited to the going away party on the 29th of August at 2 o'clock, 2 to 6, I think, something like that, in the center corner of the Northeast Campus. So hope to see you there.
We'll be there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
And the final thing, that I have, Ms. Appleton and board members, is to tell you that Wednesday, what's today? Monday. Friday, we met with new faculty members, 34, I believe. I wish every one of you in this room could have been there. Karen Silverberg was there. I really should have her do this little speech. I was absolutely so impressed. Every one of those new faculty members, to a person, is just absolutely outstanding. And so I said to the presidents at the end of it that they have just done an absolutely wonderful job in selecting new faculty members to join us. Now, don't panic. That's not 34 new positions. That's 34 new faculty members. Only 5 new faculty positions, but these people are replacing faculty members who have left. The one thing that I wish you could have been there to hear, not just all of the wonderful things that they have done and the enthusiasm that they bring to their work here at TCC, but almost everyone to a person said in these words, I am so glad to be here. You know, I have tried, and I have tried, and I have tried, and I have tried to get on at Tarrant County College. We heard the same thing tonight from people who are coming here. So Tarrant County College is indeed a magnet. We attract really outstanding people. And I know all of you in the audience are very pleased to know that we are attracting so many outstanding people because, after all, they've got to be outstanding in order to keep up with you. So, board members, I want you to know that we had... Took a minute to sink in, huh? Okay. We have an absolutely wonderful crop joining us tomorrow.
Great.
So
We'll
that's
look
my
forward to
report.
it. And
oh, and don't forget the breakfast in the morning, 7:30. Arlington Convention Center in Arlington, Texas. Okay?
And that's, we, excuse me, we are not going to have a closed meeting tonight. So at this time, Mr. Gase, do you have our schedule for the coming year? Are we going to distribute it, post it? It's on my agenda, and we'll forward this to you in writing at some point. and I know you'll want to engrave it in ink on your calendars. Thank you all. I think we're off. We've ended a good year, and we will start a good new one tomorrow. And I thank you so much for your part in all of it. So we are adjourned, and we'll see you in the morning.
I need to see all of you for just a quick minute.